Hey, I think I get scruffy looking every single day. Probably worth figuring out. Okay. Realize the microphone isn't being removed by the camera software. It's fun. Oh well. Uh-huh. I have no idea how to enable this vertical stream. I've clicked go on it. I don't know if it'll appear in feeds because it doesn't look like it's streaming twice, but it's streaming using a different key and a different endpoint to the regular stream. So I don't know. I'll keep trying it. Like the first time I did it, it took over, so I've disconnected them. Yeah. So I'm just finishing up this game stuff. Uh, Again, I was too focused on baby stream and not actually getting this stuff done. So, oh well. So I'm gonna finish up the game stuff before I actually start on the Liquid Sky stuff because I need to switch over things. Um, Sagas. While we're waiting for Claude to do its thing there. Uh, because Liquid Sky is kind of my stream thing, and I don't want to do the game stuff on a regular basis on stream. What are you doing? I am having fun. I'm also having fun with this as well, so it's the balance. Oh, did that just not ask me to restart? Oh, that's awesome. Oh no, there you go. Updates are available. Settings. Restart IDE. Oh, but oh no, there you go. GitHub Copilot. It wants me to restart. I just want to see this through first. Whooping. So I achieved two things yesterday. I achieved doing more of this, which I'll show once this builds, but I also did actually get the Saga behavior building. So the concept is that when I receive a notification, right, in my consumers, notify user of change. So this sends a process notification request command, right, which ultimately will check the subscription to see what it needs to do, and then it will publish an event so that whoever's listening to it, yeah, that is a benefit. I really hope that they are working on that piece. So this publishes an event, says, hey, immediate notification request received. And now over here, this Saga will start because it starts on this one. So we have one handler for this, right? Now, the instance of this that's loaded is handled by the Saga. So this one, yeah, it's fine. This one will load up and say, okay, well, is there an existing Saga for this orchestration identifier? No. Okay, let's create a Saga for that one and then handle it, right? And this will actually, I don't like this pattern, this handled notification, because it creates the Saga as well, but the code difference between the two. So this is going to have to be revisited because it's doing too much and it's kind of obscure behavior. But yeah, it will handle. And that being said, I think I need to update that library anyway. Because I think I did the asynchronous stuff. No, I did it. Yeah. It's here, so why does that look like that? That should have an await in front of it. That's not right. Clean selected projects. Clean is meant to remove the generated code and regenerate. So, live. Yeah, we're definitely on the full screen version. Let's see if this is finished. Yep, it has. Okay, so that's running. That's running. Yep. So we should be able to go here. Oh, there you go. It's done it. That's cool. So now when I go here and click list, this is the actual list of games. Right? I don't, the paging isn't working properly. I don't know what's going wrong there. But now the stats are down the left-hand side. These were up here as panels, which I think just made everything that much harder to deal with. There's still some vertical spacing problems there. Games table. There's a search in here. No, that's just the table. My collection. My collection. Again, I have some real problems with the layout of this. Failed to load games, error state, collection header. My collection. That's cool. That's returning that way. I think the console's number's wrong, but no, platforms, that's why. Right, okay. I hate having to, I'm rewriting my update queries in my bot to use execute update async instead of saving updates for tracking. Gotcha. Kenny, hello. How you doing? So I think somewhere in here is going to be why I am. So page 1, page 2. Yeah, the paging is not working correctly. Let's just give it one more try. See, the thing is with this, I'm hooked on doing this, right? Nick Chaps's videos are useful to me. Good for you. That's good that you got. Yeah. Playing around my tail, moves and behave, how's progress, when release, which piece? The paging is not working correctly. It's not respecting the page numbers. So Liquid Sky, that code is wrong. I don't know why. Yeah, I can't run both projects at once, which is the problem. So I can't be doing the game stuff, testing it, and having Liquid Sky because they both start up SQL servers and stuff. And I do not want to mess around with ports and whatnot at this point. So what I've been working on is this piece, this Sagas piece. I think I got it. So actually, let me just go back to that. I'll show you what I was doing there. So what I have here is basically a lot. Hello. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Um, so yeah, the saga is started by the notification request received, right? So that event publishes this saga is begun for this entity. So if another notification comes along for a different thing, it'll start a new one. We'll worry about what happens if you get multiple notifications while the saga is running. Afterwards, that's a next case, and then it will also handle change activity received. So if we get a change activity, it will also handle that. So as the saga started, if that change activity already exists by the time we handle the notification, because they could have come out of sequence, right? We gather the state, we mark this saga as true, as complete, because we actually don't need anything. So actually that should go there. So we're going to carry on. So we're going to store the state of the saga. If the change activity event comes along, source event, mark it as true, right? I don't know why this would actually happen, but we'll come back around that afterwards. And then when we mark it as complete, it will publish, right? So it will publish this event, which will return this notification was triggered, and it'll take the state from there. So yeah, so it'll use that state to publish this notification was triggered, and then the next step is to get that notification was triggered event and actually send the email. So yeah. So again, this is coordinating the information to now say, yep, we can actually trigger the notification to the user. So the basics are in there. Testing this is going to be tough. This might be one where I ultimately start building more integration testing around, because I'm actually needing to receive things from two different services at once. This is not going to be easy, but that's the point, right? The point is this. Let's have a look. Now the pagination should work correctly. So here we go. So we go here, we go to list, we go here, and we go to page 2, page 3. Nope. One more go, Claude. One more go. A lot of this I'm doing deliberately using just Claude like this, where I'm not actually going reviewing the code. I have changed some code, but yeah. So yeah, on the Saga, I think it's good, but that did just make me think about what happens when I do that, where I receive the same orchestration. I think it won't actually matter. I think it would just ignore it if it receives another one. No, because the orchestration identifier is actually the event change, so it would actually be, it wouldn't receive a second event of this type. The immediate notification, this is the orchestration ID, is the source event, so it wouldn't matter. It can't receive a second one for the same notification. And the other saga, when we build the timed the scheduled saga, it will actually be dealing with that in in a schedule. The saga will never end unless the subscription is removed. So that would be an infinite saga. As always, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on the stuff I'm doing, please feel free. Now pagination should work correctly. The fix, by only including specific functions instead of the entire pagination object, we prevent the circular dependencies while maintaining proper functionality. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Did you do it? Nope. It's just continually resetting. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, it's double firing. That's no coincidence that it's 4 times as much. Let's see. So I'm sorry that I'm starting with the game stuff because I do want to move to Liquid Sky. I do want the Saga stuff. However, this is also kind of fascinating. Like the auth service object is including the dependency array. The auth service is like an object that causing the use effect to run multiple times. So this is my problem with this, right? So on the server side, when I made a change, I was having issues with requests. I said, okay, I'm having some issues with requests. It's triggering a redirect. It's like, okay, let me remove all the auth. So it just removed all the auth around all my controllers. Now, not major problem right this second, but it's kind of not the point, right? So you've really got to make sure you understand what it's trying to do. Same thing. So it's guessing now. So now I should not proceed with that, because if I proceed, what's going to happen is it's going to start making more drastic changes because it doesn't understand what's going wrong. Yeah, so we have a lot of we have a lot of problems here. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get back onto Liquid Sky. Be a bit more focused. But that continues to be my side project. Because getting my game library up and running properly is a desire. Okay, so Liquid Sky. I should just set up the passkeys at this point, but I continue to work without the passkeys. So let's go into tasks. If we have no recorded change detail for this change from the start, if we have change details, send email notification, right? So I've got receive notify user of change. Let's see what we are actually planning here. So realistically, the outcome of this is I send an email. Now, technically, that one's done. That one is done. Forget how your own UI works. Because I've had to do that anyway, so that's handled. I had to do that to create the subscription parameters in the other side. Um, yeah. So when I change appearing after trigger Saga and when else, right? Upgrade Saga library to .NET 9. So we've done all that piece. We've done all this piece, right? Basically what I did is a change yesterday. I introduced the ability for these to be asynchronous. So now they support the asynchronous behavior. The reason being is that if I need to query data or I need to do whatever, I need async in there. So that the pattern, what's the word? Not replicates, remains intact through the path. So yeah. Also, I don't necessarily like doing this. It's a JetBrains annotation, but it does mean that, you know, I'm signaling that this class is actually, you know, used implicitly. Hi, Phil Samuel. How you doing? So I guess we need to. Do we need to wire the rest up? I think we probably should wire something up so we know that when it's happened. Otherwise, nothing else is going to work. Now let's go back into the. Let's go into here. Docker compose down. Also, my mind answered you, my hand didn't. Okay. That's done. Liquid sky. So now we can go here and do dot services up. So I don't like playing around with the ports. So the game trove library works. The idea that I have with Docker, the way I think of Docker is Docker allows me to context switch between stacks. So I don't have to have everything open. This machine has plenty of power, plenty of resource, but I don't want to necessarily test that very much because, you know, Liquid Sky alone is quite a lot. So basically I shut down the game trove SQL server and anything else the game trove thing requires, and then I bring up the Liquid Sky stack so that my Docker instance really only contains one set of running services for an application at once. That is preference. I know I could put the game trove SQL server on a different port publicly and still point it to 1433 inside, but then I have to allow for that in my code and in the configuration. I just don't want to mess around. I'd rather just refer to an address. So we have a scenario here where our application, no, not happening. Subscribers. Actually, let's go by use case. Um, 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 coordinating notifications. Sending notifications. refactor this, adjust namespaces. So when the Saga command to publish notification was triggered, right? So that's coordinating them. This is actually going to be sending them. Why is my machine locking up? I'm just talking about resources. Oh, it's Rider. Oh, it's a keyboard shot. I must hit some keys that cause some confusion. I don't know what they are yet. So this is going to be notification was triggered subscriber. Right. Actually, let's go with this. And then let's do using notification was triggered. Notification equals yeah. Communications domain dot events dot right. Notification was triggered. Right. Notification handler of notification was triggered notification. Right. So I know that that might not read very cleanly from a code perspective, but it does read cleanly from a, you know, an eventing perspective. So we can revisit that later. But this pattern is not uncommon in my application. That I use that subscribers, right? So normally, that's how I normally would do it, right? So let's do this. That's how I do it, yeah. Let's copy that. Let's delete that. Notification was triggered. So I've named the folder so that I can name the reactions, right? Send email notification, right? So this is the actual the thing we're doing in response to that event. That's kind of the pattern. Okay. So but we can't, because we've named this, we still need that there. So we still need the actual notification type. That's that. Mojo. Good morning. Someone who read the brief. Now in here, basically, I suppose I inject the email provider and do it that way, but we also need to do templating. Resources. I think for consistency. Well, I say consistency. I'm not sure whether it is consistency. We need to send this email now. So we'd send email provider. Where? there's definitely going to be some naming move around here as we get to the other scenarios. I'm trying not to overthink it and get the concept in there. But in the same, I'm like, how much more work do I do? I think again, the if I hit this point, uh, if I hit that breakpoint, great things have happened. Mizzy, hello. Good afternoon. Welcome back. How are you doing? I'm doing good. I'm making progress on many fronts at the moment, so it feels good. So again, the idea of the saga is it will coordinate these events coming in. So when we get an immediate notification request received, we can start this saga. If that saga is still running later and we receive a change activity, it will update and mark the saga as complete. Of course. Yeah. VS Code or WebStorm? Uh, both. I mean, I don't use VS Code. Um, but I mean, again, what do you prefer? What do you like working in? Do you have you tried both, or are you just using other people's opinions? Like I like WebStorm. Uh, the layout's nice. It's familiar. For me, I'm a big JetBrains user, right? So I'm using JetBrains all over my app. So I can create the same environment now. One of the things that is bugging me is that should be over there. Um, that's a Visual Studio hangover for me. I haven't really paid attention to it because obviously I've been using Claude more, but yeah, that's a good point. That should have been over there all along. Um, yeah, VS Code is nice. It's a fast, small text editor to edit configs, but WebStorm has tons of features, but you should figure them out to really leverage their potential. We don't want to dig deep and learn the IDE, stay with VS Code. Yeah, I mean, use a tool that works to make you productive. That's really what matters more than anything. It's like don't just because someone says, "Oh, this tool's better, use this tool, use the tool." I like Rider. I was a long time Visual Studio user. I switched to Rider, and I haven't really looked back when I've used Visual Studio to prove that other projects are possible on stream. It's just not been as good an experience. It's better than it used to be. It's a lot better, but it's still Visual Studio is an everything IDE. Like every language, every framework, every tool, everything. But then again, Rider and the other tools are heading in that similar path because by opening up a plugin environment, people want to add more functionality in. I mean, look at these icons down the sides, right? This is all extra functionality beyond just this part here. So, yeah. Okay, so I think if we get there, that's a really stunning point in time. So let's run the app. Let's close Game Trove and open Liquid Sky MD, this window, yeah. I mean, I suppose another question is what are you developing in? If you're using WebStorm or VS Code, are you just doing Oh, why are you crashing over? Starting to get a bit silly now, isn't it? The number of services. Oh no. Ah, no. I really should. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. I work with several things at the same time. For example, I've currently planned a personal project to do, and then when I go to configure C# and VS Code, it is a nuisance. That's why I'm thinking of moving to the JetBrains suite and getting used to it. I kind of skipped the whole C# in VS Code thing. I know that the tools have got significantly better, um, but I had at the point when that came around, I had Visual Studio available to me. I'd used Visual Studio since the early 2000s. It was just natural for me. Rider was a depart uh, 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 a departure for me. In terms of like there's things that work and things that just are new, and Rider does better, and some things that Visual Studio does better. But I definitely, as someone who professionally develops C#, um, oh no, we'll wait for that then. While I'm doing that, for those of you subscribed, this isn't gonna revolutionize anything. New planning item. Remove dependency on console. Configuration. Products. Sign project, client, and tower, actually. They both need it. Review date. Let's review that I'm out next week. Let's review that early September. Initiative, general improvements, 525. I don't think it goes in initiative, it's fine. Fix this as well. Yeah. Once that loads, because that's the server side load, that's waiting for the server to actually get that message, right? It will jump back up to the top, which is annoying. The ordering in this grid needs to be completely refit. Okay, so requirements. This is a hard one. Requirements. Startup should not. Console. Actually, requirement remove console. Now I know this is a technical requirement and this is within the planning side, but this is something I need to plan for and tackle, and this is me, right? So for anything other than a KV store, Kafka, we should remove this and have a configuration. $140 of add left. Is that out of sequence? or 1 minute 40 of ads. That's annoying because I thought that was meant to be like 30 seconds or something like that, or a minute. Oh, 2 minutes. Okay, so sorry, I forgot. I forgot the balance I put it at. I put it at 40 every 40 minutes, 2 minutes of ads. So anyway, the thing I was saying before is like Visual Studio, Rider, it takes some getting used to. If that's what you want to work in, that's fine. Rider is a great C# environment. Highly recommend. But you know, Visual Studio is also available, right? The full Visual Studio community is available. So that's that's available to you. But if you're going to move to the JetBrains suite, again, I'm using Rider, I'm using Data Grip, I'm using WebStorm. I do have other tools installed, right? I don't have any major problems with anything JetBrains. Rider's been having a few issues lately, but I'm struggling to tell whether that's me and the things I've installed and the amount of stuff I'm doing inside versus it being Rider problems in general. The configurable Kafka topics stored somewhere else. Still want to centralize that. Mr. Horn, good morning. How you doing? 2. So let's leave that as is right now. That's not what we're planning. The problem with that is it's up. You know what? It helps if you don't put a lot of stuff in front of the screen that you're going to use. I need to get a board and put them on there. For the steering wheels for the racing, I bought these little things, and what they are is they're little metal holders that the steering wheel clips onto, so I can mount them to a board. They come with screws inside. I can mount them to a board or something, and then I can just clip the steering wheels on, so that if I'm not using them, they're not on the floor, they're not everywhere else. So yeah, it's more than I thought. Yeah. So anyway, I want to learn C#. Hi, Ren. How you doing? What makes you want to learn C#? That should. Sorry for the blinding. Local host 8500. That should have given me that. Yeah, that's fine. That should start now. What do you currently do? What do you currently use? Are you new to programming? So I'm waiting for these services to start up. We'll get this started. Yep. If you are new to the stream, you are more than welcome to ask any questions. You are more than welcome to chat. This stream is not just about me programming. I'm happy to discuss and share my experiences and yeah. As long as we don't divert to too much, I'm fine. Go there. Yeah, if you have any questions, obviously the C# I'm doing on stream, the code I'm doing on stream is not necessarily beginner level, but I'm happy to talk about it. I'm happy to show things. The code that I'm building on stream is not open source in general. There are some components that are open source, but they are, again, they're in the more it sounds so conceited, not conceited, self-important, but they are more advanced than a lot of code. Just because of the things I'm trying to tackle. Localhost 4200. So I'm just logging into Liquid Sky on the dev instance. Sign in. W. That's why I keep using Chrome. I can never remember the email. But yeah, if you have questions, feel free. Just close Chrome down. Just W. There you go. It's because it's a random developer email that I created a long time ago. Okay. There we go. So this is the dev instance. The icons, you see the differences here. Ooh, a bunch of drop frames. That's not good. That doesn't normally happen. Also, Twitch has up the bitrate, hasn't it? I'm streaming at 10K. That's been limited to like 6,500 for a long time. Oh, okay. Never mind. What is going on? I keep hearing noise, so I'm just checking on stuff. Oh. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Imagine streaming with TCP and you get old image because they got resend. In my dreams, I'd reach into my pocket and pull out money more and more each time. That sounds like a good dream. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as always, if you have questions or opinions on what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to share. If you want to be shown more specifically what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to ask. I've done this for so long now that I don't automatically jump into demo mode, but you are always welcome to if you are interested, to dig more into what I'm doing. And okay, so the idea of this is, if I create a notification to this, include parameters. I won't include parameters right now. I'll just say, I care if the status of create team changes. Right. And now I open up Firefox and I log in as the right database, this window. Tenant management, DBO, tables, users. If I log in as, let's log in as Fred at, no, I need people in the same tenant. I need to remember that I've got a tenant, tenant one, tenant one. Most people are created in there, so it's fine. I need to validate that. Fred at my.com. Oh, is Fred at my.com one of the ones I didn't use the same password for? Let's do Andrew. Edit Andrew at my.com. There you go. Continue without passkeys. So now, oh, today's going wonderfully. I should definitely do this more often. Closed. 4200. Sign in. Okay. So that's Andrew, right? So Andrew's now signed in. If I go over here, this create team, in theory, if I hit edit status, I should receive a notification, right? So if I go to here, I should hit this breakpoint. I should also, and this is where this gets really tricky to test, I should hit this breakpoint because I'm going to receive the change detail. The change detail in this case actually doesn't matter very much. Oh, that's worrying. McNets, hello, how you doing? So let's see what happens. So if I go and edit and I change the status to anything, doesn't matter what I change it to, in progress and save. Let's see how fast and, well, if we get the notification. So things have got to happen, right? There we go. We got the notification. So we actually received the change, and yeah, there we go. That's what my problem was. So both of those things happened. So now, do we hit the debugger? And also, did we create the saga? Is a bigger question. So we didn't hit the debugger. So we don't send the notification. Did we create the saga though? That's the problem. Sending notifications, coordinate notifications. Like, did we hit these points? No, because we didn't do anything with them, because we didn't set sagas up. You know what? So we got both those things. Those things both happened. The send to notification, we saw the breakpoint, right? So this happened and this happened. But I didn't do anything because I didn't set up the actual saga piece. Okay, let's get Sagas involved here. So add email provider, add service bus. This has no concept of database. That's going to be its own challenge. Oh, no, that's actually not too difficult, actually, because we can just do add database, I think. Think I made that shared? No, apparently not. No. Thought I moved this out to a consistent component, but clearly not. Database configuration is there. Infrastructure configuration, configure email. Email is configured. I suppose this piece could be moved out there as well. What's the right thing to do here? So by not adding the sagas in as a thing, they weren't listening. So their notifications weren't registered. The part of mediator, no worries. Builder dot services to add sagas. That's going to be the piece. Managing again. And this is where my... So I've got TBD develop. So packages, mediator sagas. I don't necessarily need the generators in here, do I? I just need sagas, I think. Sagas. And MongoDB. No. No. What? Package failed. Unable to find package. Sagas.persistence. Boo. Boo. I think in general, I need to restructure. This is something that I'd actually be very interested in going over as an entire stream, purely because, in my opinion, organizing this as it is makes sense. But what does it mean from an API perspective? How do people consume it, right? So the problem here is this library isn't being published as a NuGet package. So to add the basics in, I need persistence there. These don't include this library by default, right? So they don't include a copy of this. So this has to be an additional thing. So think of this as Entity Framework Core, Entity Framework SQL Server, right? That's kind of the way I see that. But to get that to work, imagine giving shout outs to other streamers. Thank you, Online. If you haven't watched Stoney's stream, I highly recommend it. There's not that many of you in here today, but Stoney's stream is a good time. It was a good hanging out there yesterday. I mean, you got to be careful with Dukasoft because actual music troll, but yeah. Pack persistence. So sagas dot persistence. But yeah, we should I should review this, restructure it, and tidy it up a little bit, and maybe we can do a stream around that, because in terms of good good behavior when it comes to publishing a NuGet package, right? What does that look like? Include Saga assistance as package. So the problem with that is the way I'm doing it. Oh, my mouse is struggling. The problem with doing it the way I'm doing it right this second is that now I have to wait for that to publish up there. So if I go here now, github.com, I've got this window open so many times, it's not even funny. Mediate Sagas. Obviously, I've just pushed that now, right? So I create a release, draft a new release, 0.0.11 until the Sagas are actually fully functional and doing everything I need them to do. This number is going to increase, and the major is not going to release. Include persistence in NuGet packages. Persistence is a library necessary to support Mongo and SQL Server packages. Being published. Okay, so that will go through, and we need to give that a few minutes now. So that's going to cause some issues. But in here, builder.services.add sagas. Add sagas. Configure dot register saga. So auto registration at some point might be necessary. Immediate notification saga. So that pulls this saga into the system. It knows now that that's going to be registered, so that will register it with Mediator, right? I could use in-memory persistence. However, because there's two services accessing this, in-memory persistence is outside of the realms of possibility at this point, so we can't do that. There we go. So ultimately, we could put in some discovery there, but yeah. I'm seeing, so recently I decided to post a little bit more on LinkedIn again. I went through another flurry of that. I actually did start talking about Liquid Sky on LinkedIn. Next week, Melanath. Hello, by the way. Good morning. I am in Texas next week. I'm pretty sure. Sorry, probably the way I talked about it, I can see how I would make that confusing. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot more people posting on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn content is, I try to make sure it's only tech, which is what I originally liked about platforms like Twitter, that I could get only tech content, but then, you know, people become people. And people have been posting about planning and whatnot. See, this is... We'll worry about the specifics of moving this around afterwards. I don't want to create a problem where I introduce dependencies into weird places. Yeah. How you doing, man? How's your project stuff going? I don't think I missed a stream. I tend to, if I can, I come and tend to lurk in your stream for quite a while. There's that much going on, I can't. You are very productive in your streams. Yeah. Canny Dev, if you're interested in game dev, I would highly recommend again checking out Canny Dev. Is a whiz with game engines. I'm leaning into some of the very British speak today, apparently. Oh, one line, give me work to do. You give someone the responsibility of mod and just keep you working. I'm delaying while I wait for a NuGet package anyway, so it's fine. I'm sidetracked on some C++, but I'm planning on streaming later the distributed system stuff. Going gangbusters. Nice. Yeah. And as mentioned, Meredith is working on distributed systems with Ruby on Rails, but it's focused on things like telemetry and metrics and tracing and all those sorts of fun things that I have punted down the line as a personal choice, right? So yeah, that's that. Come on. I think I probably will end up moving these here because I do care about I do have knowledge of... What the heck? I might have a little bit more to implement than I realized. You know that thing where I said I'm going to move this around and organize it. I think we need to do that now. Mediator configuration goes in there, which means that gets removed from there. And now we can do add mediator from that version. Right. It's all in infrastructure anyway, so it really doesn't matter. No. Yes, that one. Yeah. That's fine. Mediator configuration then gets... That's fine. It needs to know about it. It is fine. Genuinely fine. It's all fine. Let's rearrange that. So then that should change that a little bit. Yep. Which means this moves here as well. That's fascinating that nothing complained about me doing that. That's absolutely amazing. So we need entity framework core. Yeah. And we need then MongoDB, their library. And we need to implement communications DB context. Not communications DB, MongoDB dot entity framework core. It worries me that they haven't even incremented that version. It took them a long time after .NET 9 was released to even get the 9 version stable. I mean, it can't be easy. but still. And then we're going to have directory. Let's add communications DB context. Right. Now, part of why I like the MongoDB library is because the EF core stuff is transparent. So if I switch this out for SQL Server later on, I can just switch it out for SQL Server later on, and it will work. Which is the DB context options. Right. Override on model creating, model builder dot apply configurations from assembly. This. Now we go here. That will work. We need to create our repository. Why was that working before, but now oh, did I move things around? Wrong. Infrastructure storage. Oh yeah, there's my context. That's why. I've moved the wrong things into the wrong places at the wrong times. Derp. Let's not do that. Let's delete that. Let's move that part there. Which means that's got to move. No, it doesn't. It can stay there. There's transactions in MongoDB the same as in SQL Server. I don't know 100% there. Considering how often I actually have to deal with transactions. There's only one transaction in the entire of Liquid Sky so far, and that is because when you sign up a new tenant, I coordinate 3 or 4 different collections as part of different handlers, and that works, but I haven't done it in Mongo yet, so. To be honest, the way that the way I'm designing the software, everything's kind of in an implicit transaction anyway, because I'm doing one thing at once. I'm doing lots of little actions that don't have cascading actions often. I'm sure that as I go through and actually, discover the use cases, that I'm going to come across, oh yeah, I probably do need a transaction there. Again, part of the benefit of learning here, right? So I put storage out in its own thing. That was my fault. So add database there should then become add database here, right? So we should be able to do add database, add mediator, and I'm putting the let's be a little bit more consistent. I'm putting the sagas inside of the mediator. I know that I could move the sagas up, but this behavior will be wrapped together, so it's fine. Okay, so that starts to look a little better now. What is going wrong? Everything's going just a little bit slow, and it's driving me batty. Something's either taking up memory or chewing up my CPU. Or both. There's no one thing doing anything bad. That's annoying. It's spiking though. It is spiking. Let's reduce the number of things we've got actively doing anything. Let's close down Game Trove there. Close down Mediator Sagas there. Got that open, we got that open, we got that open. Yeah, this computer should not be struggling as much as it is. I think we may reduce a little bit. Still curious as to maybe I check the box for the for Twitch to do the enhanced broadcasting things, but yeah, it is kind of high. Okay, so those are moved around. That means these just need that. That's fine. Communications. And now what should happen is when I get this extra library, should be able to do TBD develop. Sorry about that. Someone was at the door. And I realized that I'd stood up. Okay. So we should be able to get our mediator persistent still isn't there. And version 11 should publish. Let's make sure that went through. Ah, it failed. Full command line. Only one project can be specified. Back persistence. I didn't specify mediated Sagas persistence. That's right. Did I not put it as packageable? Edit. No, I didn't. That's the Sagas persistence. Base. Persistence implementation. So if you were going to build on top of that, if you wanted to introduce a CouchDB version or another persistence version, you take that library and you build on the extra piece, right? That's the idea there. Project reference Sagas, but that's the problem. Project did not include the relevant. So what we do is, because I don't think any of those would have gone through. Actually, Sagas went through. So version 11 of Sagas went through. but the rest failed. So release to NuGet. So we do this. We go and we create version 12. I'm not worrying about trying to clean it up. Take care, minutes. Enjoy your lunch. I'm not worrying about trying to clean it up. The reason being, I want to move forward, right? It doesn't hurt anybody if I release version 12 and it fixes problems in version 11. No one's using this library other than me. If there was a consistency problem, if there was if there was a problem there in terms of like proper ordering of events and making sure that the release history was cleaned up and it didn't show those kind of like, oh, I dropped the ball, then yeah, maybe I would change the way I'm doing this. However, I think it's more important to be transparent at this point and just kind of move forward rather than worrying about going back and cleaning up a little bit of mess that isn't going to hurt anybody. You know, because if I did this in production, if I did that there, version 12 of Sagas would have released, or version 11 would have Sagas would have released. None of the other versions would have had version 11. Persistence still wouldn't have been there, so it wouldn't have helped anybody. So it is what it is. Oh, come on. Only one project can be specified. Oh, did I just do the wrong? No, that's one project. Let's do what I should have done in the first place. Let's do from here. I want to take that. Unknown switch. What's an unknown switch? Error MSB 1001 unknown switch. Which is the unknown switch part? Dash C release dash P package version equals 0.0.999. Okay. Is it that that's creating a problem? Misplaced backslash forward slash. This is kind of demonstrating a common problem, and I'm not immune to it, right? I do the same thing. I have one priority, and that is kind of what I'm trying to build right this second. So I'm not putting the correct amount of attention on doing this properly. And what I should have done is, and this is where you often need to reflect over your work, your working process. What I should have done there is I should have ran those commands to make sure they ran and built. The configuration was still necessary. The project configuration was necessary. That would have failed before. I'm fairly certain, but I didn't do it. I was more concerned, like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'll just do this. I'll just mimic this, and it'll be fine. It'll work, and sometimes it will. But I should have paid the right amount of attention to that, because that's just cost me 30, 40 minutes for no reason. Good morning, Napalm. How you doing? And again, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to not mess around with deleting these are the release. I'll delete the releases, but yeah, 0.0.13. So we will have a jump, but I know what I'm doing. I don't need tests. Well, I'm just sharing that I know what I'm doing wrong there. You know, I should have paid more attention to what I was doing. I should have verified before I pushed. You know, thinking, yeah, this is easy stuff. I'll move on. I'll progress, and all I've done is cost myself more time. So, yeah, no, I'm not perfect. And I should have learned that lesson a long time ago, but they'll do it. Corrected YAML and this. Displaced /. So again, let me just, before I go too far with that one, did I validate that that was the case? No, I did not. Right, I validated that. Oh, look, that works. So, yeah. I was about to make the same mistake again, right? I didn't test that. I jumped through the conclusion. But what that's going to do, ultimately, is going to cost me time cleaning that up, making sure the wrong version of the package can't be pulled. So I've got to unlist those versions of the package if I'm going to do this properly, because I don't want to risk the incorrect version being pulled in, and I'm going to spend time doing that. And you know, it just, why? Why do I not just make it work the first time properly? There you go. We probably won't see those people at the end of the stream, sadly, though. So I'm kind of a little bit stuck. So yeah. There we go. That built. Amazing. You should update. You're not failing. You fixed. Okay. I kind of want to move that there. Now I have a mixed concern. Now I see it. The organization's going to be wrong. Yeah, that's going to take a while to trickle through. That's not going to happen this stream. Just from experience, the amount of time it takes for NuGet to replicate out the version of the package that I'm going to see is one downfall of my workflow. However, the idea would be that I wouldn't be working on these that often. I'd just be able to trust that they are stable. That's again the challenge. I mean, the success for the stream is definitely, we got the consumer message, we got the receiver. So both these events happened, so we know they are occurring, which is good. That means the system is behaving, and we did see the receiver receive that change event after the consumer had received the notification. So that was in line with the way I was thinking things would happen. So yeah, some progress there. So I guess being that's not going to do that, I'm going to shut that down. I'm going to open up the game library project again and finish out the stream with that, because I cannot do very much without that. No, I don't remember saying do that. Game Trove 2025. Do 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 do. Mojo, hello. How's the coffee? So this project is a reimagining of well, it's a reskinning essentially, because I have a database which I will show as soon as I bring up the Docker. I need to wait for the other Docker to stop, otherwise this is going to make a mess. So if I go to configuration, deployment, I don't know why I've called it there. Docker compose up. Right. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't do the W, the D, but it's fine. That does work. Nice. Cool. Okay. So I have a library of games. No, that's deliberate. There's just too much going on, so I shut down Liquid Sky and shift to game tracking. That's a very deliberate. I know what to do there, but yeah. I want to refactor all the things. Don't refactor all the things. If you're in control of all the code and you do not have team members, then go off and refactor all the things. But that's not the case. Because you do not want to work at odds with other people. You do not have ports. Yeah, so that's deliberate. I have not. I have made it because I do not want to mess around with ports, and also the. It's a context switch. This is Data Grip by JetBrains. So again, my JetBrains ecosystem, and welcome in. Hope you all. So at this point, my game library, game collection, game library, whatever you want to call it, game collection, is big enough that this is actually kind of a useful data set. I have the copies tracked, I have the games tracked, I have notes against these tracked. Like if my wife bought me a game, I log it as being bought by as a gift, etc. I have this price charting association, so I link games to game copies to their price charting equivalent. And I have the history of all the pricing I've recorded over the past. Actually, let's see. Nope. Select count star from price charting game copy associate. No, price charting history. So there's 99,000 records in that table. Select star. Select top 20 star. Wow. So this database was last updated on the 26th of July. I've updated it at least once since that. So these are the prices as they came in, and then I mark as current. So the new record, so there'll be many records for this association. So if I go and look at this, select star from Right, sharding history, where association ID was that. Right, I should find, there's all the prices of Need for Speed that I've recorded since 2021. So I've been recording this for 4 years apparently. There's big gaps in the date because I don't do this on a regular basis. So basically, this application, it stands right now. And again, as always, if you have questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to share. You're more than welcome to ask. Failed to load stats. Awesome. Let's log out. Let's log in. What? What? Yeah. Okay, so there we go. That's interesting. There we go. So it's loading the stats down the side. Consoles, I will put the metric in afterwards. I don't have the concept of wish list, but it is something I want to do. My wife has often asked for me to add games to the collection and indicate that they are wish listed items. So now if I go to my collection, this is still fake data, but when I switch to this one, we have the real games that are here. So now what we need to do is figure out why that triggers 4 requests. So the problem being, I do not know React, so I'm leaning on Claude to help me understand. So let's see how good Claude can do with this one, right? Let's give Claude a chance. Yeah, fine. Maybe on stream earlier on made a good point. By the way, if you haven't followed, maybe highly recommend it. Made a good point. With Claude installed like this, Claude does have the ability to push and make commits to my repos. Because it's installed on the machine, it can do those things. Which means if there's anything malicious that happens, then potentially Claude could go off and do bad things to my code bases. So I'm trying to think through that one. Like, what does that mean in terms of how do I set that up differently to still be able to use the Claude facilities? But in general, that's a wider point for when we give these tools agentic access to our stuff. Yeah, but anyway, that's an aside. When I hit the next page button in my collection, it makes 4 requests. Identify and document the workflow. So when I click the next page and highlight to me why it might trigger 4 times. Do not make changes to code at this point. Code-based message is okay. What if Claude uses your credentials to do crazy stuff in your cloud infra? It is interesting. The trust and the rapid adoption of the tooling. Like what could it do? I don't think we know what it could do until someone actually figures, like, oh yeah, the whole delete database thing. from a couple of weeks ago, where the CEO deleted their database, or whatever he was. Yeah. Prompt injection is already a thing, and I think how can you protect yourself against that? Oh no. So okay. Missing this dependency. Well, you said that the first time, so let's have a look. Let's use it to educate. Based on my analysis, here's the complete workflow when you click the next page button. So user clicks the on next page handler is called. So where does that happen? Pagination controls. So we hit the next page button. Previous button, next button. On click, we call on next page. On next page is passed in as a prop. Pagination hooks. See, it's this thing that's confusing me. Hooks, use pagination. Handle next page. If current page is listed to all pages, handle page change current page +1. If page is greater than 1 and page is less than all pages, set current page. Right, which is a state change there. So handle next page called handle set current page, update state, scrolls to the top of page. Multiple use effect change triggered. The 4 requests are triggered by cascading use effect dependencies in use games data. Current page changes triggers use games data effect at line 131. So these are kind of things it hooks into. Pagination data sync games load triggers effect at my collection TSX line 39. Use effect, pagination enabled, right? This calls pagination.set pagination data. Updates total, triggers another use games data effect cycle. Final stabilization as all derived state cells. So this set pagination data, how does that trigger use games data? Because use games data is triggered on current page changing. The issue is in my collection, the pagination sync effect has missing dependencies. No, it doesn't. Performance, 4 times unnecessary network requests. Well, 3 unnecessary. User experience, update tools. The primary culprit is the unstable function at line 47, which creates a cascading effect. Okay. There's no missing dependencies. Missing this dependency. We're not missing it. It's right there. That's exactly what it shows. What is the missing dependency? The code looks as you described. Which language framework is this? This is React. So this is TypeScript with React. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about it. I've not used React before, so this project is perfect for that. And hello, Globe Rambler. You can keep telling me what the problem is, but it doesn't. The fix would be again. So What is the missing dependency? You're absolutely right. Again, that normal problem, right? You're right. The code looks as you described. I made an error in my analysis. Looking at the code again, dependencies are actually correct. Pagination, set pagination dependencies included. Let me reanalyze this more carefully. Now I see the real issue. The set pagination function at use pagination in line 54 is not memoized. It's recreated on every render. This means the dependency set pagination data in the use effect at my collection changes on every render, causing the effect to run repeatedly. Let me trace the exact cascade. The real root cause, use pagination, line 54, is not wrapped in a callback. So it's recreated on every render. The fix would be... Okay, so it thinks the fix is to say use callback. And this becomes that. And then we do comma. So that's for dependencies. So it thinks that's the answer. Is it the answer? List. Nope. Okay. So I made that change. And it still creates the same behavior. Think ultra hard. Answer. Maybe. Hello. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Good timing. How did things end up? Well, I hope. Sodicus, welcome in. How you doing? Yes, this is my game library project. This is my, I'll learn a bit of React and see if I can understand things by building something and achieving something. Right now I'm in a, it just keeps telling me to make changes that, yeah. So I think I'm in a bit of a loop with it right this second. I switched away from Liquid Sky because I was waiting on NuGet packages, so I figured I'd finish out the stream while working on this. I'm not doing, similar to you, I'm not doing any major Claude usage. Yeah, this is using Vite with React, TypeScript. So trying to get my way around certain pieces. Right now, what's happening is I am trying to page, and when I hit the page, it basically resets. Yeah. But no, I'm good. I'm using it to learn, so I don't mind if it's inefficient. I will. I'd rather have a hole and figure out the hole than have, you know, things done for me. This is the AI hole. It's great up until it's confidently incorrect on the wrong solution, which generally you notice at the fourth. So you're right. Let me fix this. I understand the problem. Then it gives you the same code. I thought we were on Charlie. Nope. So basically what I did is I used UX Pilot to help me generate the UI. And then I worked with Claude and put screenshots in there. So I have my reference. It's funny. Huh. So I have my reference designs over here so I can actually see, hey, implement these pieces. Claude did a stunning job overall of implementing that. And once I got the style in there, I was adding little pieces of, yeah. The root cause is reset to first page, not being memoized, causing the my collection. Oh, is it? Thinking, so the real issue is that reset to first page is not memoized, and it's used in a dependency array in my collection. Every time the pagination hook re-renders, like the explanations are making sense. I see the behavior. I've seen the same behavior in Angular, right? But it's like, this is attempt 4 at fixing it. A friend of mine is really solid on Charlie for TypeScript. Nice. Sold, not solid. Pagination hook re-renders the root cause. So when it says memoize, I know what memoization is, but line 50. So if we go to my collection, creates tickets, works on tickets, and reviews the code. Huh. Reset to first page. So is that meant to be a callback? Is that what that's telling me? Is that meant to be? Is that what memoizes that? Is that the behavior? My goodness, we've fixed it. You just had to tell it to think really hard. Think ultra hard. So if it really works that well, then maybe product owner can run it all. No, no. So here we go. So now that's actually paging through my games. This is my real collection. We do have all these tracked. If I go to page 12, yeah, that's awesome. That's working exactly as intended. I don't like the fact that I'm going to scroll though. That's not really helpful. I think infinite scroll will come here, but yeah, 321 to 340 of 1790 items. Yeah, nice. So the idea will be you'll be able to come in here and say, oh, by console, drill down into the actual PS4 games. Yeah, I was going to say these are still static lists. These are not filtering right a second. That would be terrifying. And ultimately, you're able to click on this, see the actual game, go back, and yeah. This is for me to personally track my collection so that I can understand what games I have. I can look them up on the phone. The flicker is insane. When I asked the AI to explain the concept, I did yesterday. I understand the concept, yeah. So Yash, hello, how are you doing? Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Oh crap. And here's the problem. I get into a groove. Yeah. So yeah, I can refine this, right? So right now I got the UI working, the UI is all coming together. So the ideas are here, right? So the ultimate goal will be that'll be a search. And if I don't have the game, I'll be able to add a new game. I'll be able to type this. And I got all this working, just by going through. And the idea will be able to save the game, and then you can add copies to the game. So the number of copies is here. I own, it says like 2 copies of Dishonored 2. It's all good. I appreciate it. I appreciate the follow. Today might be an Anna day. So yeah. So apart from some layout stuff, I've been working on a couple of things. So my main project on this stream is Liquid Sky. Liquid Sky, or Project Liquid Sky, is a project management and planning application that I've been building for a while, aimed at helping me, aimed at helping product teams improve their requirements gathering and tracking of the software production, and allowing development teams to focus on the actual production of the software rather than the management and structuring of all the information around what is the product. So this is the primary focus for this stream. I'm waiting for NuGet, which is why I switched back to my side project, which is my game tracking library. Liquid Sky is a large distributed system. Well, it's not a large system. It's got a wide footprint, but it's not a very big and complex system as yet. There's a lot to it. But the idea is that the developers can have tasks, they can estimate the tasks, the product team can gather requirements and track them as part of initiatives and as planning items. And then overall, the goal will be to let product teams track where they are as far as achieving their requirements as they've laid out. So if they build big requirements, there's going to be lots of these, and it's going to take a while, right? This isn't going to get done in one cycle. So helping the two teams align on what their goals are and increase that visibility, so that developers can just get on with the developing piece. So that is the primary focus of my stream these days. But I do divert onto other things regularly. So yeah. But this is all built in Angular. The reason I'm building this in React is so that I can learn some stuff. Yeah. And on the concept of memoization, you know, yeah, I did that yesterday. I asked it to explain the memoization. It didn't put that there though, right? It's not, again, it's just another example of the AI is building the code. All of this code was built by the AI tooling. I said, please add pagination. But it doesn't know those things automatically. So I have to go in and dig into that properly. Now, to Maybe's point, right, if I had a more comprehensive Claude MD, maybe that will help me direct this stuff. So I can say, you know, keep an eye on this. If you're doing this, behave like this, etc. So as I get more knowledge, and that's kind of why I don't want to accept another Claude MD. I want to do this myself. So I'm building my own requirements, because I think that's where it's going to come down to, is that when we're talking about languages and frameworks, we're going to end up in this world of we've got to go off and kind of figure out how to tell the machine what to do. Because so far, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, it's a lot of cookie cutter stuff that's put together, and you have to understand, you know, the pieces. I'm using it as a learning tool here, and I'm going to fail more often than I'm going to succeed, because I don't understand the underlying structure. But that being said, this has accelerated my ability to produce this, right? I don't have to worry. I've been able to focus more on the back-end elements because I can let Claude handle these pieces. So this is looking better than anything I've done so far in terms of this entire project. Now, ultimately, the goal would be to have this be able to record, like I'll be able to upload my videos to it. I'll be able to do all sorts of other stuff. So, yeah. But anyway, I have to go. We will... Actually, let's drop you in a different stream. We always raid Anna. However, we're going to go drop into a co-working stream. So PG Khalil is co-working. He's a designer and UI UX expert. I'll take you over there. I haven't raided before, so it's a new raid for me. I will be back tomorrow for more of Liquid Sky. Hopefully the Sagas will be in there. We're getting close. The code is structured. We've got the events firing. We're just going to add the persistence to be able to save the Sagas. And once that's working, we can start to really test that system. The goal is very much to get the notification stuff structured so that then I can add on a few of the extra pieces, like the changes that you can subscribe to, and then add on things like email and push notifications so that the overall infrastructure is there, and then I can focus on all the rest of the stuff. So anyway, for right now, let's go raid TG, and I will be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you around, thank you very much, and see you again. Bye all.